Live from the podcast rooms in Glasgow, it's all about the Gers with Ricki Neill, Derek Ferguson and Charlie Miller.
Hello and welcome to All About the Gers. It's myself, Ricki Neill, joined by Charlie Miller, but we've also got a special guest. We've got big Stewart Findlay from Corby. I would just like to say a big thank you to all our sponsors. We've got ISG Resin Flooring Specialists, Giant Sea Architectural, DB Dental Care and Plugged In Business Solutions. You can check them out on our social media channels. You'll find out all their website links. But it's a big thank you to them that we can keep this podcast going. Charlie, how you doing, mate?
I feel strange about my sidekick.
I know. Do you know? I forgot to say that Derek's called off at the last minute. Unfortunately,
Derek called off at 5:25. I think his son's game's at 7:45, so I was obviously want to watch that.
I know. Here's me thinking he'd been up to no good yesterday and
on the bevy
and not allowed it. But we've luckily been joined by Stewart Findlay, and it was actually Stewart that booked us for the Corby gig.
Yeah.
How's things, Stewart?
Yeah, very well, Ricki. Thanks for having us on.
No problem.
Yep, even Stuarty boy.
It's a slight delay, but I'm sure it will catch up pretty soon. Right, we're going to just go straight into the game, Aberdeen game on Saturday. A hell of a lot better, Charlie, wasn't it?
Well, it was. Obviously, we're missing out the Napoli game for last Tuesday.
I just forgot about that.
No, last Wednesday, sorry. We'll just forget about that then, right? It was... They played really well. We have to support them when they're playing bad, but even give them praise when they're playing well, you know. It was much better performance. They were at it from the off, although we went 1-0 behind. I think everybody's thoughts were on, no, here goes. But Aberdeen opened up, they attacked us, and we just peeled them off. It was great to watch. It was enjoyable. It was like watching Rangers properly again. And I was really happy with performance, and it could have been more. Could have been more.
Stuart, we finally seen Rid van Yilmaz, and he was actually looking good for the first 7 minutes. It's probably the best I've seen him playing so far, and then he's got another bad injury. What do you think is going to happen with that boy? Do you think he's ever going to get a kind of first team place?
Yeah, I do. We haven't spent that money for nothing. I think it's been a longer term buy for basically he is going to be born as replacement. I was absolutely gutted for the young lad. On Friday night when we were on the other pod, I was shouting for the rooftops that I wanted them to start, and he deserves to start. And then for that to happen to him so early in the game, because he was looking really good. I was gutted for the lad, absolutely gutted.
Charlie, do you think Gio's trying to change his style, the way we play? Because Yilmaz is a totally different player for Barisic, isn't he?
Well, I wouldn't say so. I would think they're very similar. I think the way they attack and the way they try and get up and down the field. I still feel sorry for Barisic because I like Barisic, I really do. Obviously, a wee bit soft in the tackle at times. He's a wee bit weak maybe when he gets injured and he wants to go off. But it was good to see Yilmaz play the other night and obviously Saturday, but it was unfortunate for his injury. It's the same as Davies as well. Mm-hmm. Davies just doesn't want to seem to get a run in the team, and then he's off at half time with a wee stretch or whatever. But just for the club in general, Saturday, for Giovanni and the players, it was a massive 3 points. It really was.
Aye. I mean, as you say, when that first goal went in, I thought, oh no, this is going to be torture. But I mean, the first goal, our defence just stopped because it looked like that player dived.
Yep.
Should that not be a VAR decision then? Sure, do you think?
Well, I thought they were going to look at it, but sorry, Stuart.
Yeah. I reiterate what Charlie just said. I thought they would have looked at it straight away. Some of the decisions in the first half on Saturday when incidents happened and there was no VAR check for a couple of tackles. That incident for the first goal. It was a bit strange. It was. But we came through it, and as Charlie said, we bounced back and we played really well and thoroughly deserved the plaudits that the team's getting at the moment for the way they performed.
And it was definitely a dive as well, by the way. It was a stone.
It was a stone wall, wasn't it? He didn't even touch him.
No, it was ridiculous. And Tav stopped, and I think it was utter shock.
Aye. I think about 3 or 4 of them stopped, didn't they?
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know why it didn't come out with the van. I don't even know if they can do that.
No, they probably never had to do that before.
I mean, it was a bit of a strange one, but we came back. Colak's first goal, nice assist from Tillman. Did you hear Lundstrom on the press conference thing the other day? He was basically singing his praises. And he was basically saying that Rangers fans just need to give him time and kind of lay off his back.
But you see where he plays in that central area, Stuart. I don't know if you've been calling for it, but on here we've been saying he's signed to play in behind a striker, be the attacking one for midfield.
Yeah.
And he's stuck on a line. You see him on Saturday in behind the strikers. Great ball through. I can't remember who it was that played him through, if it was Lundstrom or whatever, played a great ball through, and Tillman runs straight through the middle of the defence and then it's a great assist. It's a great finish with Kolak. So he's got that in his locker. We know where he wants to play, or we think we know where he's best at, and it looks as if it's behind the strikers or the attacking midfielder.
Yeah, what do you think of Tillman, Stuart?
Yeah, just exactly what Charlie said. I've been shouting for the last 4 or 5 weeks for us to play the kind of system that we played last season towards the end when we didn't have a striker. So you could have Tillman in that slot, but have your Roof if he's fit, Colak, Morelos, and have a fluid front four. So one can drop in, one can step in, one can drop out, other one can step in, and it's just a nightmare to mark against because the defenders will never know exactly who's going to be where at any one time. But yeah, Tillman just sitting behind the strikers is that's his position.
But the thing is, every player wanted the ball on Saturday. Every player was hungry. They were, and we know what Aberdeen are like, and they score early doors. Aberdeen are wanting to get right in their faces and tackle and kick you and be as competitive as they can be. But the boys, it was actually great just to watch them playing really well, battering Aberdeen because I don't like Aberdeen, and it was just good to get the 3 points without kind of people leaving moaning or whatever.
Aye.
You know, it was just good. I think Gio needed that, and the players themselves really needed it.
I know. Do you know what, Stuart? I was saying to Charlie just before we come on. I wondered. I didn't even think of this until I was driving in here. Obviously, Michael Beale was in the director's box. And then I was starting to think, I wonder if they've actually raised their game, thinking this could be potentially our next manager. It might be nothing, but what do you think, Stuart?
Yeah, I think it is nothing. A good friend of mine, Jamie McDonald, was actually sitting with Michael Beale in the plane-up. And he just kept on saying he was there only as a fan. So the love he's got for the club is just unbelievable. But it could have been a double bluff. It could have been a master stroke by certain people behind the scenes. Invite him up as a guest.
I don't think it's a master stroke at all. I think he was just up as a fan, as you said, and because he had a chance at the Wolves job, obviously. But I think the thing is, he's just thinking about Queen's Park Rangers. It's his first job. He wants to be successful there first. I think he's got a good head on him. He seems to be, what do you call it? Respectful to his employers, I think, and he wants to show loyalty. And I think it's a good way. But obviously, sometimes in football, you don't get it showed back to you because it can change very quickly. I just hope it doesn't lose the next 4 or 5 games at QPR, and then it could be under severe trouble again. You know what it's like.
I know. Yeah. But I mean, obviously, we wish Gio. We hope he does well with Rangers, you know. But 100%. Would Michael Beale be a good contender for the Rangers manager?
You can't really. I don't think you can speak about it now because obviously Giovanni's still there. We have to respect that. I played with him, as I said, for just over a year and whatever. But the result on Saturday definitely helps him again. It gets the fans back in his side. It gets the fans back in the players' side. I've got something to look forward to next Sunday. Obviously, the game tomorrow. I think we can win by 6 tomorrow. Then 6 days or 5 days.
I think 5 days, isn't it?
5 days. But we'll go and beat them 6 or 7 anyway. So who knows? But no, obviously tomorrow it'll just be good to play another European game against one of the top European teams. But Sunday's obviously our priority now.
Aye, but do you know what you were saying about Rangers? Everybody was up for it on Saturday, weren't they? I mean, it could have been about 7-8-1. I think
it could have been a doing. Obviously, Tav missed the penalty.
Yeah.
And then Morelos was just offside, I think, for one. But there was a few other ones. The goalies had actually have one a wonder save.
Aye.
So I can't remember who shot it at the edge of the box, if it was Lundstrom or whatever.
Aye, Ross McCrory had it off the liner. I think they get 2 others off the line as well in the second half. But it's looking great. I mean, there's something. Well, I was actually going to talk about this later on, but Ali Quinn saying Sakala working back the full game. Love the wee man. Can't believe how folk don't appreciate Tillman. Great young player. He's only played a dozen games, but Sakala, I thought on Saturday was brilliant again, Charlie.
But Sakala's work rate's different for Kent's. He works his socks off. You know what I mean? And I didn't think Kent done too bad on Saturday. I mean, he's probably his biggest critic because I think he could do more. He should be doing more. But yeah, Sakala's he's full of energy. He's not the most skillful player in the world or anything like that, but he's full of energy. He's direct. And sometimes that pays off.
So next goal, what I really liked about this, we're starting to take shots outside the box again, which we'd stopped doing again for a few weeks. But Tav outside the box, followed up by Ben Davies, and I think that's actually where he maybe injured himself. But it just shows you, I mean, even what you call it, Ben Davies right up there, right on the goal line, crossing it back in so that Lundstrom can score. But what's happening with all these injuries, Stuart? You know, it's starting to get a bit worrying, isn't it?
Yeah. The World Cup break can't come quick enough. It can't. Let's just hope that all the injuries that we're having our bad spell with injuries now, and it's not going to continue for the rest of the season. But it's as we were talking with Davies being injured now. Somebody gets injured tomorrow night. We're playing with a fractured squad. We'll be playing with 2 central midfielders, which is centre halves. We will. But it's worrying, but also at the same time, hopefully, with the World Cup break coming up, that will help us get the likes of Tom Lawrence back, young Ridvan. And I know Goldson's going to be out to maybe early January.
Aye.
It was banded about. Yeah.
And I've got a list. I've got a list of the players here that are injured, and you've got Kemar Roof's injured, Ryan Jack, Golson, Suter, Philippe Helander, Yanis Hadji, Tom Lawrence, Yilmaz, and Ben Davies. You know, so that's nearly a full team.
Well, hopefully Ben Davies is just a wee stretch, and he might miss tomorrow, but he'll be back for Sunday. Oh, as I said earlier, priority is definitely the league now. We want to go in the next. Obviously, the break coming up, we want to be as close to sale as possible. We don't want to go any further behind. And I believe after Saturday's performance, we can do it because that'll, as I said, give them confidence. And obviously, Lundstrom suspended tomorrow, so fingers crossed we don't get any centre backs injured tomorrow. No, we've only got young King, and then Sands is going to have to drop back in there, I think. But I like Sands in the middle, but his legs. That's what he played in Saturday. You see, and then he had to put him back.
I know.
So that's what I've been shouting for, is Sands in the middle of the park.
Do you know, me and Charlie were out at Lounge 72 yesterday doing a Q&A, and I think I asked you, you know, will we pay the £4 or £5 million for Sands, do you think, at the end of the season?
Well,
should we?
My thing is, I think we might have to, because he's actually done okay. He's looking as if he'd be a good midfielder for us. Davies isn't getting any younger, is he? Davies probably his last year. Great servant, great player, great lad, and but I think that they probably will sign him because I've had him for a year and a half to a year or whatever. Well, once the season's finished, it'll be a year and a half, I think, won't it?
Aye.
So I think they'll take him. They must like it, boy. I think he's got a great attitude, the guy. Good athlete, typical American kind of athlete. So yeah, good.
Aye.
I think he'll sign him.
So the third goal, just like you said, it was Kent that was involved with that. Stuart, what's your thoughts on Kent? Because I think nearly everybody that we've had on the show so far has always said they think Kent can show so much more. But Gerard used to always say that about him on the training pitch as well. He's got so much more to show. So why is it not happening?
You need to be a psychologist to work that one out. But what I was impressed about with him on Saturday was he was being a little bit more direct, and he was whipping the balls and not always looking to try and beat the man on the inside. There were especially in the first half. I think he whipped in 3 or 4 really good crosses into the box. So he was being, in my opinion, he was being a little bit less predictable, because the whole season he just wanted to cut inside and just take that extra touch. It just spoils the move. I think he's playing with no confidence.
He's definitely.
Yeah, and I think the style of play that Gio wanted them to play in, I think that's maybe stifled his creativity a little bit, because the previous seasons under Gerrard, he was used to Bonner bombing past him, creating that space. But just for the last year and a half, when we play against certain teams, the moment he gets the ball, there's two players on him. There's just to nullify what he can do.
Yeah, but he's got to realise that if there's 2 players coming to mark him, he's got to find space inside or go outside or come shorter or something. But for me, what he hadn't been doing, see when Barisic was running around outside of him all the time, he hadn't been giving the Barisic the ball. He'd been cutting inside and absolutely killing Barisic because he loses the ball, and then Barisic is having to sprint back. Past him to go and make up for Kent's mistake. But Saturday, every time Barisic went round him, well, not every time, but 90% of the time, he put the ball into Barisic and Barisic whips the ball in, or he gives it to Kent back, you know. So it was, they two were playing as if they knew each other again, which was good. And it was just enjoyable. I'm glad this week.
Just good to watch it, wasn't it?
I'm just glad this week. I'm happy about the result, the performance. I still think we can fit Morelos in there, really, but
yeah,
it doesn't look like it's going to ever happen. But I still believe we can.
So Tav scored, lovely header.
What else I was?
Oh, and you got?
Yeah, I tell you what else I've been impressed up with the likes of Ridvan. Was when he's played with Kent, when it's been congested out on the wing, Yilmaz has cut inside and tried to make a run on the inside of Kent. And I think if we can get Ridvan back fit, that's going to be a fantastic tool to use. It's not just doing the overlap, just doing an underlap, cutting inside.
Yep. No, 100%. Well, different types of players, Yilmaz and Barisic, but very similar. It's a strange, but they want to bomb forward. But the young enthusiasm of Yilmaz will maybe get inside sometimes. Barisic always flies down the flank. And I've got Ali Quinn here saying, "Please don't expect to qualify." Come on, I've got to. I don't expect to qualify, but it'll be a miracle. But you have to still believe.
I know.
Big Marvin will tell you believe.
Somebody else in the groups saying that I actually only have 4. So what happens if we score 4? Does it go into extra time and penalties? So
I don't know how that would work.
I don't know.
But we have to believe we can do it. The players are good. Obviously, it'll be difficult to even win the game. We know that. But as well as a chance, you have to go and play as if you can do it 100%. That's what you get with the belief. But of course, it's unimaginable. I think at this time, even though we played well on Saturday, I don't see that happening. But as I said, the priority is definitely the league on Sunday.
Do you know, I heard that Big Bassie's actually getting slated over there by the fans, you know?
We'll take him back in the morning.
We would take him back in the morning. I'm just going to talk about Tav as well, because over the past few years he's been criticised of how many fans, especially Big Stan Gordon didn't like him for a long time. But I mean, what do you think, Charlie? I mean, that was a brilliant header. And what do you think of him as a captain, a player?
I really like Tav. I think he's the way they play nowadays is that he's an attacking right back. He's up and down. He creates so many chances for us. He scores many goals. Okay, sometimes he gets caught out, but that's where we're looking for the other midfielder to come across and cover for him or whatever, or the right centre back to be round in his area to kind of cover. He's going to make mistakes. Well, he's not make mistakes, but you've got to get caught out at right back sometimes, just because the sheer fact he is always up the park trying to create.
I think there's so many times, as you say, when he's running up, the old-fashioned thing was the midfielder would cover him, but we don't seem to do that.
We did last season.
Aye.
We did last season.
Just that, but that makes him look like a bad player, doesn't he? Because he's out of position.
I think the thing is, I think we're going through such a bad spell. Everybody's kind of trying to look after their own job at the moment and not kind of helping somebody else out that's not having such a great game. But Saturday, everybody played well. Everybody wanted the ball, and they all helped each other. They fought for each other. It was really good to watch, as I said, and hopefully this kick-starts us on.
Aye, we never got a chance to talk about the VAR coming into Scottish football last week. I was actually at the game last week, and I just felt it did delay it quite a bit. Even times where it didn't look like there was a decision to be made, you seen the ref telling the keeper just to hang fire, and then he was giving them a kind of on you go.
Yep.
So there wasn't even any decisions getting made. But I just thought at the weekend there, it was terrible the amount of time. I mean, Morelos' goal, it took ages.
Mm-hmm.
Players are not going to be able to go and celebrate and things like that.
Well, it's happening in England, isn't it? We've seen it in England and the rest of Europe because they've, for some reason, miles ahead of us with getting VAR in. I don't understand how Scotland could do it halfway through a season. It's only the country in the world that can probably be stupid enough to do it and no do it at the start of the season. But there's obviously got to be hitches because it's just new to them. Maybe we should have tried to get some of the English guys up here to kind of do some of the games for us. Obviously, they're not paying them the money that they're probably earning doing it in the Premier League. But obviously, I would imagine somebody's been up showing them how to do it or whatever. But it shouldn't really be that hard. If he's offside, he's offside. If he's not offside, he's not offside. If it's a penalty, it's his handball, it's a penalty. Right, move on. Let the game go. Let the game flow. I don't want it to be like rugby,
It's just even when he was taking the decision to give us that penalty as well, that seemed to take an age as well, and the guy was nearly juggling it.
I know.
What do you think of VAR, Stuart?
If it's used for the correct reasons why it was initially brought in, I think it's a fantastic tool for the referees to aid the referees. What we don't want is to go have the same situations that we had the first couple of seasons down in England, where it was used for every pedantic little thing. Use it the way it was supposed to be used. Now, I initially don't mind the referees taking the time with the implementation of VAR in Scottish football, because I'd rather we got, even though we've done it halfway through a season, I'd rather we got it right from the very get-go, and then learn from that moving forward. But yeah, it's if it's used the right way, VAR would be a fantastic tool. And you see that in other leagues in Europe where it's used differently to the Premiership, etc. And it seems to work. Yeah, it's still left to the human interpretation at times with some things. But yeah, just with like Charlie said, if it's offside, it's offside. If it's a penalty, it's a penalty. If it's a dangerous tackle, it's a dangerous tackle. It's a red card off. Use it for the correct reasons, and I think we'll have a better product in the end.
Yeah.
Yep, definitely.
There's Mitchell's Gracias saying, Ajax game all about pride, to be honest. More interested in 9 points, because we've still obviously got St Johnstone, Hearts and St Mirren. Then regroup, get injuries out of the way and ready for the festive fixtures. Charlie, I've never been so more looking forward to this World Cup break.
No, 100%. All of us are looking forward to just to get it's nearly a full team that's injured, and they've been injured for a long time, a lot of them, unfortunately. So definitely, as I said, tomorrow is just about going out there and giving what we've got, showing that we're not as bad as what it's been so far, and then Sunday 3 points against St Johnstone, and then win the next 2 league games, and then happy days, and then hopefully they can drop points before then, but just try to get everybody back fit. I can't believe Roof's injured again. I just can't believe it.
I know. I mean, here's who's this? Marion Brando's eyes. King played 2 positions on Saturday. Anybody can see Tav is needing a break badly, be it through fitness or this injury with painkilling injections. But he's actually going in for an operation during the World Cup break. Right, yeah. So hopefully nothing bad happens and Tav's back fit.
Oh, definitely. We definitely need Tav. But you can see he's struggling. Same as Lundstrom's struggling. They've told us that. But they're playing through it. Fair play to them. Some of our guys on there, obviously. Hadji couldn't, and Goldson's couldn't. Roof, obviously, I don't know what the problem is. Ryan Jack, because they're out for so long. Lawrence. But We just have to really get 9 points, bang, put cotton wool over the rest of the players, and then make sure the rest of the ones that are injured are back fit for January, as many as them are close to be.
I mean, Tom Lawrence was looking brilliant just before he got injured, wasn't he? He's a big miss.
He was beginning to set. He was beginning to be a really good player. I think he was. I don't think he set the fire a light or anything like that. Yep, but he was showing what he had. He had glimpses of good play, good passing, some good goals, and he'd settled in quite quickly. It was probably him, and he'd probably settled in better than Kolak at the time as well. But now Kolak's obviously well in, settled and firing goals in all over the place.
It was the same with John Suter. I mean, John Suter in the final against us last year, he was the best player for Hearts, Stuart, wasn't he? And do you think he's got it to be a Rangers player?
I think he's got it. But the one thing about John Suter, it's been clearly stated that we signed him with an injury. So why do we play in pre-season? Why not get the injury healed up first, and then bring then play him? But yeah, if Suter can stay fit and free from injury, he is one of the best centre halves in Scotland. He is.
Oh, definitely. 100% he is.
Obviously, we bought him. Yeah. For just and I've got a few friends who support Hearts, and they wax lyrical about him, Charlie. And obviously, you see a lot more of the Scottish football than what I do, because I'm down in Workington. But yeah, there is a player in there, but it's just keeping him fit and free from injury. Well, that's going to be the hardest thing.
Oh, definitely. And the injuries he's had, it's not been just wee niggles, it's been too cruciate. You know, it's the worst you can get. He's come back well. But what you're saying is, why, if we signed him before the season with an injury, how the bloody hell do we start him on the worst pitch in the bloody Premier League when we play him against Livingston the first game of the season? That can't help. That just you can go in there fully fit and not even tackle anybody during the game and still come off sore.
I mean, there's Ali Quinn saying we shouldn't have signed them, but see, when I remember Archie Knox was on Stan's podcast last week, and they were talking about when John Brown was due to sign, he actually failed his medical for Rangers, and Archie basically said, "No, I still want to sign him," but was it Hearts that knocked him back because of his medical? I think, Charlie.
Soon as it signed,
I shouldn't have signed him, but I'm saying that he actually failed his medical. He was, and I think he went to Hearts before that, and he failed his medical there, and they told him to go away. You know, so sometimes you need to take a chance, you know. But I don't know. Right, Stuart, I was watching your podcast the other night, and I heard your wee rant about the board and Ross Wilson and everything. Right, so I'm just going to run a few things past you, right? So Champions League, just for getting in the group, we get 13.5 million. If we did win a game, so if we win tomorrow, we get 2.4 million. If we get a draw, it's 802,000, right? So that's just some of the money. Europa, they reckon we got 50 million for that last year. Aribo was 10 million, initial 6 million. Bassey 19 million with add-ons. Nathan Patterson 16 million pounds. So you were wanting to know where's the money went and why we're not buying players and things like that, and what's happening with Ross Wilson's signings.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know if you've seen the rant Charlie and Ricki showed you, but
no, I haven't.
I went off on one on Friday night with the board. All I was trying to say during that rant was just want a little bit of transparency. Us as a forefront of everything is the love for our club, not their club. It's our club. And I just wanted, if they come out and tell us that they've used the money to do X, Y, and Z, and the reasons why they've done it for X, Y, and Z, I'm all for that. We're all adults. We can all take it. We are the greatest support in the world. We proved that back in 2012. We did. And I hate harking back to 2012. But where has the money went? A lot of things that they came out and said, like Edmondson House and all that kind of thing, that money was all earmarked beforehand. So none of that was going to be used. They couldn't have foreseen a 50 million pound windfall from the Europa League. I don't care what anybody says. They could not have factored that into a business plan for the club. And all I was just trying to say is just be honest with us. If they've used it to pay off debts for the people who've invested in the club, tell us. It is. And yeah, I just went off on the right one. And I had to stop before I might have got the podcast taken off YouTube. But yeah,
everybody's allowed their opinions, Stuart. And David Morrison is also saying, where is all the money? All the money raised by the players' sales will be reinvested. That's a direct quote from Ross Wilson. But Charlie, you did say right at the start of the season that you were worried it was going to be quantity and not quality, and it's kind of been proven that that's the case.
Yep, I said last week that we've no replaced for two best players free when Morelos isn't came back fit, but we've obviously been fortunate that Kolak's hit the ground running. But we've just not replaced Bassey and Aribo. We really haven't. But it does take players time to settle. We know that it does. And then injury after injury, Davis, Yilmaz, I think the young Ridvan was a wee bit rabbit in the headlights in his first game, and it was kind of a shock for him how physical I think it was going to be for him. Obviously, Tom Lawrence had probably hit the ground running and then bang, injured. Suter never actually, he's played the first game against Livingston, bang, out. So we've not really actually seen the players, but we've been very unfortunate with injuries especially. But I just feel Saturday's really just given me a big boost and we're going in the right direction after that.
It was good to see it because me and Charlie were both like, I think your dog took you for a walk last week at half time, and it was just the football was so boring. It was actually losing interest to watch Rangers, which is a horrible thing to say, but the football's been so bad recently.
2 weeks ago, because we played Napoli last Wednesday. They were good.
They were really good.
Class side. I don't think they'll win it, but if they keep on playing the way they're playing, they definitely could win it. But they can't play like that for the full season. They've been ridiculous. They're so fit. They're strong. They're passing the ball. It was clinical. It was pinged in and it was bang, bounced off, and they were away. And you're like, bloody hell.
If it wasn't against us, it would have been good to watch.
100%.
Because they are some team.
Aye.
Right, next up we've got St Johnstone. Well, not next up because we've obviously got Ajax tomorrow. But I'm more kind of concentrating in the league now. St Johnstone, is that a hard game for us, Charlie?
Difficult, horrible. See if you don't go there and you're no starting. Everybody thinks it's just got to be turn up and win. Then they'll be in for a shock. We know St Johnstone just grind you down and just defend, and then they'll get that one wee chance for a cross or a free kick or whatever, and you'll be struggling.
They'll take it.
I think once or twice in the last 3 or 4 years, we went up there and actually battered them. I think one night we beat them 3 or 4-0. I think Kamara scored as well. He's not on that injury list.
Kamara. Sorry. There you go. He's on there.
Thank you. And it's Kamara with a K. No Philip with an L. But if you can get there, you can struggle. If you don't start properly and you don't give them a respect or due, get up against them early doors, get in about them, make sure we still play our own game, but we have to be up for it, definitely, because it will not be an easy game.
It was exciting seeing them playing like that against Aberdeen, especially after going 1 down. They could have just, gave up.
I watched it in the Quarry Bar and you could hear the frustration. And the sound wasn't even up. That was just in the pub.
Brilliant. Stuart, what are you thinking for Sunday's game?
As Charlie said, it's always hard going to Big Durham Park. It's always been a tough ground. But just the way St Johnstone have been playing, very defensive minded. I think we have to cut the blocks right from the get-go and just get right into their faces. Quick start, whip the balls in, make sure there's movement in the box, and then just get an early goal. We get an early goal, it'll end up 2 or 3. It will. But we have to cut the blocks quick. and play like a team like we did against Aberdeen. Not let any heads go down if things aren't going right or anything like that. Just play with your heads held high, and play to the strengths. Play to your own strengths. Win your own battles. Using a football saying said quite often. Win your own battles, and then that'll be I think we'll come away 2 or 3 more.
Good. I'll go for 3-0. Charlie, what you?
I'll go for. I'm usually. If we play like we played Saturday, I'll say 4-0.
4-0.
But it'll be stuffy, so I'm going to go 2-1.
Aye. Are we going to do predictions for Ajax?
5-0 Rangers.
Stuart?
5-0 Rangers, Broxy hat-trick.
Aye. I was trying to figure out what it will be if it's 4-0. People are talking about it goes to how many games they've won in other places and how many goals and things like that. So I think it gets a bit confusing. So I'm going to just bring Alex Kelly on because he's got a big thing here about contracts. This will you'll probably want to comment on this, Stuart. So Alex Kelly saying we also have 12 players in the final year of their contracts ready to walk away at the end of the season for nothing. Millions wasted in assets is surely bordering on gross negligence. Ross Wilson should be held accountable for this. What do you think, Stuart?
To me, that's gross misconduct in a job. That's him not following due process, not doing what he's paid to do. But then also at the same time I think it's ridiculous that we've let Morelos and Kent get into the last year of their contract. Even just an 18-month extension on that contract. But yeah, it is negligence. I don't profess to be a businessman or anything along that lines, but I know from other industries that I've worked in where very valued people have been offered more lucrative positions. I've done my damnedest to try and get them the terms and conditions that they wanted, or as close to a deal. So yeah, to me, it just smacks beyond belief that we've let at least 4 or 6 out of those 12 get into the last years of their contract.
Yeah. You're talking obviously.
At the end of the season.
You're talking Kent at one point was maybe 15 million. You're talking Morelos was supposedly not back 16 million.
21 million or something for the Chinese,
for the Chinese team. You're talking Kamara at one point, it was 10, 12 million. But it's ridiculous. I don't understand that. We should have just went here, by the way, get rid of them for a £2 or £3 million each, and then at the start of the season, and at least have brought in 2 or 3 players for that money, and then we wouldn't be sitting in the position we're in.
Aye. What was it like, Charlie, see back when you were playing, when people were trying to negotiate contracts? Was it not a bit strange? Is it not a bit like, why are you even thinking about leaving?
Well, it was. Obviously, we didn't get paid as much as the guys do now. So we kind of just went, here's your contract, sign that, and that's it, beat it. So, and then you realise that if you get an agent, you might get a wee bit more money. So we had to go down the agent route. But I did never want to leave. Never wanted to leave. But I still had a security for my family. You know what I mean? So you still wanted the best deal possible. But the grass is never always greener. Even if you get offered, for instance, 10 at Rangers and somebody offers you 12, you can't leave Rangers to go and play the Championship for an extra $2,000 a year or something like that. You know, it's just madness. Playing in front of 50,000 and going to, no disrespect to West Brom and things like that, who sell their stadiums out and they're bigger clubs in their own right, but leaving the Rangers to go to the Championship or anything like that just doesn't make sense at all.
There's Alex Kelly saying that Walter wouldn't let Richard Gough get within 2 years of his contract ending.
Gough loved that because he was the highest paid player by a penny. I think he had that in his contract. So every time guys on load-ups come in, he's like, oh, happy days.
Brilliant. So, some contract, that one. We James Loyal thinks it's going to be 2 each tomorrow. No, not tomorrow. When is it? Is it Wednesday? I'm losing track of what days it is.
Tomorrow.
Yes, because you're going, Charlie, aren't you?
Yep.
Right. In fact, before we go any further, like I was talking, Stuart, you've booked us for your gig down in Corby on the 19th of November. So it's myself, Charlie, and Derek, if he turns up. I'm kidding.
I wouldn't say I've booked his. I acted as a go-between.
You were the man in the middle wanting your commission. I'm only kidding. How long has the club been going down in Corby?
Sons of the North has been going, as far as I know, 40 plus years. They were just a group of really good lads. Drew Lovey, Pat, James Crawford, Derek Horn. They were, back in the day, they were a Category A club. So whatever tickets they wanted, they got. Because they went everywhere. They went absolutely everywhere to watch Rangers. So they've been going for I would say well more than 40 years, and a good squad of lads. You won't meet a greater bunch of lads who love our club as much as what we do.
Aye.
And you're in for a great night with them.
We're looking forward to it.
Definitely.
And they all like a swally.
Us free kind of drink cold tea.
No, we're off it. We had a tough weekend. But we're also doing our Christmas party over in Earth venue.
Yep.
That's all about the Gers Christmas party. So it's us three and Chris D's going to be doing the keyboards and singing, and then we've got wee DJ DeVito. So the tickets are now on sale. You just got the website. It's allaboutthegers.co.uk. But that's us came to the end of the show already. So did you enjoy that, Stuart?
Aye. It's nice to call on something different, and I stayed off the drink tonight, so.
No, you shouldn't have. There's vodka in my juice there.
I was wondering where the ice cream soda was.
The cream soda, because there's only two tonight. I thought I'll buy the dearer ones.
That's it. I know Derek will be raging. But thanks again, Stuart, for coming in at the very last minute.
Much, pal.
And you're more than welcome.
Be back
Look forward to
next week.
Seeing you again.
See you in 16, 17 days.
Aye, that's right. Soon.
Yeah.
Is it 17, 19?
Something like it's the 19th.
See you in 20 days.
19th down to Corby. And we're still dropping subtle hints for Gallant Pioneer to give a shout on a Sunday. Anyway, I'd just like to say thank you to Plugged In Business Solutions, Giant C Architectural, ISG Resin Flooring Specialists, and DB Dental Care. We're going to get some of them on the show in the next couple of weeks, aren't we? I think so. Keep on changing your mind.
One's a Monday session drinker.
Aye, Monday club.
Aye, and Scott, he said he's not really into, he doesn't really know much about football. Although he's a Rangers fan, he said he's no.
That's fine. In fact, we've got another sponsor that's coming on next week. Martin, I'll give you a shout about him later on. But anyway, that's us.
Cheers, Stuart, boy.
Finished
guys.
Already, but thanks a lot, Stuart.
You're more than welcome.
And we'll see you again soon. Cheers.
See you guys.